and welcome to the Islamic Finance Weekly, where we discuss and capture the activities in the non-interest finance market. The global Islamic wealth management industry has been growing steadily in recent years, with private banks and investors starting to show interest. Despite this remarkable trend, it remains largely untapped and is on a positive trajectory, poised for growth in the near future. One unique thing about the wealth management cycle from a Sharia perspective is that it empowers people to achieve wealth creation, accumulation, protection, and distribution. For a fast-growing population like Nigeria, embracing the principles of Islamic wealth management can help to deepen financial inclusion and reduce rising poverty rates in the country. This edition of the Islamic Finance Weekly will discuss Sharia-compliant investing opportunities for Nigerian investors. And my guest this morning is Mr. Ridwan Sanusi, founder, Smart Halal Investor Club. He's also a Muslim finance coach. This is our first episode for the month of February 2022, and we'll be looking at how individuals, investors, entrepreneurs, and corporate institutions can achieve wealth creation in a Sharia-compliant way. Of course, I have an expert on the show. Good morning, Mr. Ridwan. Thank you for coming on the program.
Good morning, Bukola. Thank you.
It's my pleasure. So the increased demand for non-interest assets in Nigeria is a welcome development in the capital market. Looking at it from the wide acceptance and massive subscription. What are the principal considerations for investing in ethical assets?
I think, first off, I'd like to say kudos to the entire team of Web TV and ProShare for bringing this, educational initiative to the people, not only to the Muslims or ethically inclined investors, but to the general populace at large, because it's important for people to know what is going on out there, and media channels like yourselves can help to bridge the knowledge gap. So now let me go straight to your question. The principal consideration for investment in the capital market, if you look at the past, 5 to 6 years, right, in Nigeria especially, the federal government has issued about 3 to 4 sukuk, which people loosely translate as the Islamic bonds. And if you cast your mind back to the very first sukuk that was released, it was oversubscribed, right? And we all one way or the other benefited from the sukuk. I'm talking about the private citizens of Nigeria. Even if you are not a Muslim, at least when you fly the routes to southern parts of the country, to the northern parts of the country, right, you will see the roads that have been constructed using the funds that were raised through the sukuk. And of course, just recently last month, the federal government also witnessed an oversubscription, right, of the sukuk. Their intention was to raise about 250 billion naira, and they got an oversubscription amount of about 850 billion naira. I mean, that's a lot, and that of course tells you that there is that opportunity, right, in the capital market, and of course it's an evidence of the acceptance of the instruments in the bond market and in the economy, especially given a time where investors have low risk appetite towards equities, right? So they are more inclined to safer financial instruments like the sukuk, which is of course the major financial instrument in the capital markets.
All right, thank you, Mr. Ridwan. Talking about investment, people choose the investment as part of their goals, needs, and their interest. That's the reason why we see oversubscription of sukuk in the market. So financial literacy is a useful indicator for determining one's financial planning decisions. So what is the level of financial literacy in Nigeria, and how is it affecting personal financial planning?
Right. I mean, this is a very beautiful question. Thanks for asking the question. I mean, if you take the statistics of Nigerians, and I think, people at large, not only Nigerians now, but because we are specifically, talking about our own people in Nigeria. So let me be more specific. If you take an average Nigerian and ask them about certain questions related to the personal finance, for instance, do you budget? Do you save? Do you pay yourself first? Do you read books on financial literacy? Do you invest? Do you even understand what you invest in? An average Nigerian will find it difficult to answer these questions. the ones that would answer these questions will most likely stutter, right? So 1 out of 10 people do not necessarily embark upon proper financial education. And I think there are two main reasons for this. First is the fact that we don't teach financial literacy in schools. So we go to primary school, secondary school, tertiary institutions. There is not of these institutions that actually, teach financial literacy. So that's where the problem lies. And then the second, of course, is at home, because the best form of education you can get is from schools and, of course, from the home. So if the schools aren't teaching financial literacy, right, and you aren't getting financial education from your parents, from your guardians, from people that are closely related to you, then it becomes really difficult to, what's it called, to bridge that knowledge gap. So financial literacy, like I always say, is the first step to acquiring wealth. If you're not financially literate, you're not financially educated, it becomes very difficult for you to plan your finances. Many are those that earn good income, but they really cannot account for their earnings at the end of the month, right? And if you look at Nigeria as a country, you would understand why proper financial planning is very key, because we are living in an economy that is very toxic, an economy that is vulnerable to external shocks. So you cannot, as an individual, leave your earnings to these variables that can affect the value of the currency. Someone living in the United States, for instance, may afford to save without investing, but someone living in Nigeria cannot afford to not save and invest, right? Because our economy is highly dependent on imported items, right? So even if you are earning in Naira and you're not necessarily buying goods directly in dollars, but guess what? The products that you buy, the services that you get from some of these companies like Facebook, like Twitter and others, they are dollarized. These services, these products are dollarized. So you need to ensure that you measure yourself against, the world standard, which is the dollar. So you always want to keep up with inflation, right? Which is, of course, growing at an astronomical rate, although it's reducing a bit now. And of course, exchange rate that we all know that has gone haywire. So someone in Nigeria, in fact, I always tell Nigerians, I always tell my clients that a Nigerian should know financial literacy, should be financially educated more than someone that is in the United States, because their economy is a bit more stable than ours.
Definitely, Mr. Ridwan, the impact of financial literacy is key to any economy, both from individual, young, old, and corporations. They need financial literacy, and by this extension, this reflects to the economy. Thank you. All right, Mr. Ridwan, we'll go on a short break, and when we return, we'll continue the conversation.
Islamic finance has been misunderstood by many to be a religious product aimed at only Muslims. But that is not the case. Since the 2008 global financial crisis, Islamic finance has become an attractive segment of the financial market, promoting sustainable development and economic empowerment. Join me every Friday on the Islamic Finance Weekly at 11 a.m. West African time as we discuss Connect the Globe on Islamic finance and its benefits. It features experts, scholars, analysts, policymakers, and regulators who provide insight on the capital market, banking, personal finance, Islamic insurance, financial literacy, Waqf, Halal, and all other aspects of finance and the economy. You don't want to miss it.
Welcome back. If you are just joining us, the focus of our conversation has been around Sharia-compliant investing. Mr. Ridwan, let us look at the dynamics of wealth management, which is key to a stable financial life. Can you list the Sharia-compliant products individuals can invest in for prosperity and future?
Okay, thank you for asking this question once again, because I think that many people think they can save their way to wealth without necessarily investing. Now, there are two set of people on earth when it comes to investing. It's either you start a business, which is also a form of investing, or you invest in a business if you are not called out for investing. It's either you start a business, which is a form of investing, because the biggest, the richest billionaires today are business owners. They own businesses, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like one of my mentors would say that if you want to become a billionaire, you start a business. If you want to become a millionaire, you invest,
Exactly.
right? So not everyone will become a billionaire, but everyone should aspire to be a millionaire. So in other words, if you do not have the wherewithal, the grace, the capacity to be able to start and run a business successfully, you must ensure that you invest. Now, let us talk about the Shariah-compliant investment products that are available to ethically inclined investors. There are a wide range of products available to ethically inclined investors. Thanks to Islamic finance practitioners and, more importantly, our Sharia scholars, because they are the ones that look deep into this product and issue a ruling. No one can certify a product to be Sharia compliant except that the person has gone through the rigor, a mufti or a Sharia scholar, right? So people think that we don't have many products in Islamic finance or Sharia compliant products as compared to the conventional products. And that is very not true, right? Because you have not done your own research. In recent times, we've had, for instance, the first stocks, investing in the stock market. Sharia scholars have sat down to look at how ethically inclined investors can invest in the stock market. Yeah, maybe about 20 years ago, these rules were not available, but now they are available. Anyone who wants to invest in the stock market can go through the quantitative and qualitative screening parameters that have been set out by the Sharia scholars, Halal stocks, as they call them. So that's one. Of course, another one, again, thanks to Islamic financial professionals, practitioners, we now have asset management companies that have been producing or designing, should I say, capital market and money market products for halal investors. All right, without mentioning names, I can count about 5 asset management companies that design products that are uniquely identifiable to halal investors, but without mentioning names, right?
Okay.
So, of course, you've got the mutual funds, halal mutual funds, which is one of the asset management products. You've got FIF, they call that fixed income fund. And you've also got private sukuk. This is one thing that people also do not know, right? Sukuk is not only issued by the federal government, sukuk is also issued by private companies. So they issue sukuk as well, right? They sell fixed income fund, and of course mutual, what's it called, funds, all right? So that's another one. So if you're a low risk investor, you probably want to go for the mutual funds, you want to go for the fixed income fund. Of course, another one is real estate. Real estate has been there, from the time that God created Adam. So real estate is also a very, very good and stable investment product for ethically inclined investors. So someone would ask, but if I do not have the capital outlay, how do I start investing in real estate? But that's where land banking comes in. That's where crowdfunding for real estate comes in, right? You can put your heads together as a family or as a group, associate, a workplace, and buy a real estate property, leave it, and then you sell, right, at a higher value, or you put it up for rent if it is a building, all right? And then, of course, recently you've got cryptocurrencies, okay? Even though there's a strong and heated debate among the scholars about the permissibility of cryptocurrency, depending on the opinions of the scholars that you lean towards, there are ways you can go about investing in cryptocurrency. And now, of course, there's NFTs, non-fungible tokens, right? That's also another opportunity that I think halal investors should tap into, read more about, right? So there are so many of them. Halal agri-techs, I reached out to a company in Dubai recently, right? And they provide halal agro products for ethically inclined investors. The lady was very happy to be talking to me, because I'm a Muslim, So there's so many products available out there. Startup investments, right? Imagine that you invested in Handela, you invested in Photo-Wave when they first started, right? You're going to be smiling to the bank today, right? So there are so many investment options available to, halal investors. ETFs, exchange traded funds, that's another one, right? You can buy ETFs, on investment apps, or you could buy them through some of these assets management companies. All you need to do is just to search, right, for these halal products, ask the right questions from professionals, and you will be guided.
Thank you for highlighting the varieties of Sharia-compliant investment that investors can invest in an ethically way. Thank you so much. As a Muslim finance coach, how do you intend to empower individuals in the area of diversifying investment, managing their personal finance, and achieving scale in their entrepreneurial journeys?
Okay, so I have been running the Muslim finance coach since 2019, right? And I have provided coaching services to hundreds of people across the globe. My very first client was actually from Qatar, an Indian. And I've got clients from the UK, from Canada, and of course, from Nigeria. So that I do on a regular basis. Now, for people who want to learn, under me without necessarily paying for my services, I do share regular tips on personal finance and investments, on my Instagram handle. And then now recently, one of the things that we're trying to do is to collaborate with companies that are providing products to the halal investors, because these companies sometimes need people like us to be able to reach out to the retail market. All right. So one of the things that I want to do this year to double down on our collaborations with companies that are providing these products, to help them reach out to a wider market, especially the retail market, those people that do not necessarily know that these products exist. So one of the things that we're going to be doing is to be organizing workshops, to organize seminars, right? Recently, you were also there as well. We had the Fin Leads in collaboration with, the ICD and Halal Finance. And, it was a robust, training that we had for about 5 days. And I'm pretty sure that the participants enjoyed themselves. So we need to do that on a consistent basis. So the Muslim finance coach, is going to be doing a whole lot in terms of, awareness, right, of these products that are available, and also education. So these are some of the things that we will be doing this year.
As we wrap up the conversation, so what habits should individuals inculcate to improve their savings and investment in 2022 to attain financial health and stability?
Personal finance on investments has nothing to do with mathematics. Irrespective of whether you are an employee or a business owner, learn to pay yourself first. So it's very simple. When you earn income from your employer, deduct a certain amount from that income and put it into a savings account. But that savings account is meant for investments. Just put it there. So if you have decided to save about 20% or 30% of your monthly earnings, create another account that is meant for this purpose and pay yourself first. Whatever is left is what you're going to use to take care of other needs and wants, as the case may be. That's the first thing. And you need to do this consistently, right? By the time you've done this for 6 months or 1 year, when you fail to do it in a particular month, it will come to your conscious mind that, oh, wait a minute, I have not paid myself first. I paid salary. Let me do that very quickly, all right? So that's the first thing that you need to do. Again, I repeat, personal finance is about habits. Habits are very important to building wealth. So pay yourself first. The second thing is to live within your means. I think that many of us haven't learned how to live within our means. Thanks to social media, thanks to all the glamour that we see on social media. And of course, we all know that the glamour that we see on social media, most times, they aren't true. They're not true, right? people that you see flying first class, driving in big cars, perhaps someone somewhere is actually paying for those things for those people, right? So don't compare yourself to others. Try to live within your own means. As a matter of fact, it is actually very easy to become a millionaire. And I'm not saying millionaire in Naira, I'm saying millionaire in dollars. If you can live within your means. Stay broke to become wealthy. Let me repeat that. Stay broke to become wealthy. So when your earnings increases, that's not when you should decide on, improving on your lifestyle extravagantly. Live within your means. That's the second thing. The third one is some people will say, but I really want to save, but I don't know how to go about it. And this is where you now need to automate your savings. Because you see, money has a supernatural power on people that people haven't realized. There's that evil spirit that comes with money. When you earn money, the natural inclination is for you to spend it. That is the natural inclination. That's what money likes. Money likes for it to be spent. But someone who is very logical would understand that I need to save. So if you're finding it difficult to save manually, you automate your savings. There are many apps that can help you do this easily today. I don't want to mention those apps. You can look for them. You can ask Bukola after this episode. Download these apps and then set up automated savings. Debit alert on your account. Once the income hits your account, this particular amount should be paid into my savings account. Do that, and that would help you to save on a consistent basis. People have testified to how automating their savings has helped them to acquire so much, money in a short period of time. The fourth thing that I would say is learn to say no to non-essential things that really do not add value to you, things that they are not worthy of buying at this point in time. Learn to say no to those things. The fifth one, oh my gosh, many Nigerians again do not know how to do this because we just want to be flamboyant. We want to display that flamboyant lifestyle. And guess what? Cultivate a strong maintenance culture. I always tell people that it is not about what you have, it is about how you are able to manage it. It's not about what you have, it's about how you are able to manage it, right? So a man can say that I don't like this woman that is my wife. Someone else would appreciate that woman better than the husband, right? And that's because you have not maintained that woman that you call your wife. You've not maintained her. You're not spending on her. You're not buying the things that will make her look attractive to you, right? So for instance, someone can be using a MacBook laptop and will still say that, oh, I don't like this. I want a better version of this Apple. Meanwhile, there are others that are using a lower version of the MacBook and they are so content with it, right? So learn to maintain a strong maintenance culture. So that way you will be able to use the things that you have for a long period of time. So you don't have to be buying new things every now and then. And the last thing I'm going to say about habits is to learn to do things yourself. There are certain things that you don't necessarily need to outsource. Learn to do them yourself. So these are the 6 habits that I'm going to encourage everyone to cultivate in order for them to be able to build a sustainable financial future.
Mr. Ridwan, financial freedom planning can be very difficult, but it is possible with discipline and careful planning. Thank you very much, Mr. Ridwan Sanusi. And I understand your passion for the growth of ethical finance in Nigeria, Africa, and across the globe. We appreciate your intervention. Have a great day.
Thank you for having me. Thank you. See you some other time. Bye for now.
Bye. With the significant growth in the Islamic finance industry and increased adoption across countries, there is need for more innovative products that suit the needs of retail investors in Nigeria. This should cover investments, savings, and wealth creation that align with the ethical finance standards. Nigeria is a huge market with immense prospects, and Islamic finance institutions and platforms should reposition and provide real-time products that can embrace a mass market. And that will be all for this edition of the Islamic Finance Weekly. For more updates on Islamic finance, visit our website www.kosherhenry.com. Also, watch the Islamic Finance Weekly videos on Web TV banking channel. You can follow us on our social media platform displaying on your screen. Thank you for watching. See you next week Friday for another episode.